enough, because I saw Ed Burns' show last week at the Soho Theatre, and he was saying that he'd recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and he said, which for a comedian is a bit like being diagnosed with having skin. But it's, and I remember working with him in radio, and he was only about 23 at the time. He just won the Perrier, and his mother came over for... she came over for the weekend. So the way I used to do it is I would just ask people that I thought were funny, would they like to do a show? And, there was no agents involved. There was no money involved, pretty much. They get maybe 50 quid or a taxi. And in fact, I remember doing the same thing with Pauline McLean, who's another very funny Irish woman who played Mrs. Doyle in Father Ted. And we were in the pub across the road from work. And I said, do you want to do, I need somebody to do next, Saturday show or whatever. And she says, yeah, great, let's do it. So I'd have somebody that could drive the desk for them. All I needed to do was speak into the microphone. And, I produced the music and stuff. So Ed was another one, and he could do it. But his mother was coming over from Ireland to visit. And so he said, can she come in on the show? I said, yeah, of course she can come in. And she ended up sitting in on the show. This would be the 90s. I'd forgotten until he reminded me that she used to bring in a bottle of gin and a bottle of tonic. And she became this huge linchpin of the show with Ed, to the point that the listeners were phoning up, but it's not his real mother, is it? I was like, it is Jill. This is Jill. She's come over on a plane, which we haven't paid for. But because Ed's dad happened to work for Aer Lingus, which was the Irish airline, he got her on a plane. And she did this every week without pay. And she was the funniest woman I've ever met. And her job was she was a radiographer. And so, but she would just come in with her bottle of gin or bottle of tonic every week and talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And so I think we've got this culture of storytelling. We've got this culture that makes people very good on radio particularly. But I think we've also got this kind of naturally self-effacing and also slightly downtrodden. So, being a culture that historically was colonized by Britain, we're always doing that punching up thing that I was talking about earlier, and then we've also got, there's I just say this with my Irish friends, we have, whenever somebody goes, oh, you look nice or whatever, we've got this thing that's echoed from all of our mothers when we were teenagers, and we'd be going, oh, I can't wear this, I look stupid. And always an Irish mammy thing would be, sure, who'd be looking at you? And which is kind of take away all of your self-esteem. But it's constantly sort of undercutting serious situations with